It's written in a calm, immersive, bedtime documentary style, slow-paced, full of historical details, soft narration flow, and atmosphere designed for relaxation and reflection. Headphone story script: The Worst Mistake in Human History. Approximately 1+ hour, narrated for slow reading pace. Intro 0 to 3 o'clock. Soft music fades in, a calm ambient drone of distant wind and nature sounds. Narrator calm, thoughtful. There are moments in human history when one decision, one invention, one great leap forward, changes everything. Sometimes, those moments define progress. But sometimes, they define tragedy. Tonight, we travel far back in time, thousands of years, to uncover what many scientists and historians quietly call the worst mistake in human history. It wasn't a war. It wasn't the invention of a weapon. It wasn't even something evil. It was something that seemed good. Something that changed the world forever. It was the birth of agriculture. Part 1. Before the mistake. 3 o'clock to 1500. Long before cities, before kings and kingdoms, before coins and writing, humans were free. For nearly 300,000 years, we lived as hunter-gatherers. Our ancestors moved with the seasons, following herds, gathering wild fruits, nuts, and roots. They lived in small bands, 20, maybe 50 people, bound by trust and survival. They had no clocks, no bosses, no taxes. They worked only a few hours a day, hunting, preparing food, raising children, telling stories under starlit skies. The rest of their time was spent in peace, sleeping, playing, singing, watching firelight dance on cave walls. For generations, this life worked. It was sustainable, balanced, and connected deeply to nature. Their world was wild, but it was theirs. Then, something happened. A quiet shift began in a place called the Fertile Crescent, in what we now call Iraq, Syria, Turkey, and Iran. The grasslands there held something that looked ordinary, small golden seeds called wheat and barley. When people dropped them near campfires and returned months later, they noticed something: new plants had grown. And with that discovery, humanity's destiny began to change. Part 2. The Temptation of Farming. 1500–30. At first, farming looked like a miracle. Instead of chasing animals or searching for berries, you could plant food near your home. It seemed easier, safer, smarter. Families settled down. They built the first villages, little clusters of mud huts surrounded by tilled soil. They grew wheat, barley, lentils. They domesticated goats, sheep, and cattle. And the population exploded. In a world of abundance, children could survive longer. But with more mouths to feed came a new problem: the land could only feed so many. When harvests failed, hunger followed. When food ran low, people fought. And soon, the equality of the old days began to fade. Part 3. The Birth of Inequality. 30–0045–00. In the world of hunters and gatherers, everyone shared the catch. A successful hunt fed the tribe. But on a farm, one man could own more land than another. And those who had more land, had more power. For the first time in human history, wealth existed. And so did poverty. Some became landowners, others became laborers, and a few, the powerful few, became rulers. The first kings appeared. The first armies were formed. The first slaves were taken. All to protect, or to steal, food. Archaeologists digging in ancient graves noticed something strange. Hunter-gatherers, even those living tens of thousands of years ago, had strong bones and tall bodies. But the early farmers, they were shorter, weaker, riddled with disease. They worked harder, ate worse, and lived shorter lives, all in the name of progress. It turns out that the worst mistake in human history was not a single action. It was a chain reaction that never stopped. Part 4. Disease, War, and the City. 45–00 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. With farming came crowds, thousands of people living close together with animals. And from that closeness, came sickness. Measles, smallpox, flu. Diseases born from animals spread like wildfire through villages. Hunter-gatherers had never faced such plagues. But farmers lived, and died, surrounded by germs. As cities grew, walls rose. People fought for water, for land, for survival. War became a constant part of life. The first swords were forged to protect food stores. The first laws were written to divide property. And the first gods were worshipped to bless the harvest. From the soil grew civilization, but also control. And humanity, for the first time, became slaves to their own creation. Part 5 Reflection 1 hour 0 minutes and 0 seconds to 1 hour 10 minutes and 0 seconds. So, was it really a mistake? After all, without farming, we would have no cities, no writing, no art, no science, no history. And yet, we lost something too. Freedom, balance, simplicity. We traded the wild beauty of the earth for walls and wages. We gained comfort, but lost connection. Tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine the world before all of this. Before kings and wars. Before noise and steel. Imagine standing barefoot in tall grass. The wind on your face. The scent of rain, and the sound of your ancestors' laughter echoing through the trees. A time when humans were just another part of nature, not its master. Not its mistake. Outro 1 hour 10 minutes and 0 seconds to 1 hour 15 minutes and 0 seconds. Narrator, softly. Perhaps, someday, we'll find a way back. Not to the past, but to the wisdom it held. To live once more with the earth, not against it. Until then, let this story remind you that not every step forward is progress. Sometimes, the worst mistake in human history is simply the one we never question. Good night, sleep well, and dream of the world that was, before the plow. Music fades out slowly into silence.